morning. I'm Sharon Ernst, and I'm in upstate New York visiting my good friend, Susan Ackerbauer, who I grew up with. And we're talking about our family and friends, and we're uploading it to We the People's Library. And we'd love to have you come and take a look. Hi, I'm Sharon Ernst. I was born in Gloversville, New York in 1945 and lived at the Bleecker Hotel on Bleecker Mountain. And this is my good friend, Susan Ackerbauer. And
Hi, I was also born in Gloversville, New York in 1953, and I grew up for the most part in Caroga Lake, New York.
and how we know each other, I'm here visiting her from Florida. Her mother and father and my mother and father went to Florida together in 1956, and we had a wagon train, literally going to Florida.
Yeah, a little caravan. I was just a little toddler, so unfortunately I don't remember that trip as well, but I'm sure you do, Sharon.
Well, we had 5 kids, 2 dogs, 2 trailers, and a lot of road to cover on the way to Florida, through the swamps of Georgia and all that. So, over the years, we have obviously seen each other many times. I took Susan and her brother one time out in the woods to get a Christmas tree, and we've just, had a lot of fun over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sharon's parents, as she said, were very good friends with my parents, but as time went on and Sharon grew to be a very beautiful young woman, she also became very, very close to my mother. And being a little bit younger than Sharon, I just remember when this gorgeous girl would come into town from Florida, and she and my mother and I, or she and my mother, would just go out on the town and go antiquing and take these road trips and just laugh and talk and just enjoy one another's company. And I think they became the very, very best of friends. And so Sharon was someone I always kind of admired, always enjoyed the time when she would come for visits because she always brought a lot of fun, and my mother always lit up when she knew Sharon was coming into town. And even over decades, really, decades and decades, Sharon and my mother remained very close, and my mom would go to Florida to see her, and Sharon would come up here and visit us, and I was just always thankful that the two of them had that wonderful friendship. And now it's nice that Sharon and I are kind of getting to know one another a little bit better.
We have a wonderful picture here of Susan when she was married to Lem, and her mother and father are on the right-hand side, left-hand side, I guess. Left-hand side. It's Bill Bennett and Nancy Bennett. Do you have that?
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the right-hand side, well, in the middle, of course, the handsome groom is Charles Ackerbauer, whom everyone that knows and loves him calls him Lem, which is his family nickname. And these are my in-laws. This is Alice and Richard Ackerbauer. And this picture was taken on November 6, 1971, when we were married in St. Patrick's Church here in Johnstown, New York. And it was a great occasion. And even though my parents were not married at that time, they came together for my wedding and had a wonderful time. And my dad walked me down the aisle, and both of my brothers, I have an older brother Michael and a younger brother Mark, and they were there, and they were groomsmen in the wedding, and it was quite the occasion.
But both our parents were in the restaurant business, and they loved to party. They loved a good time. They loved going to the horse races. They loved Manhattans and cigars. And it just was fun to be around. They were fun people to be around.
I think the outings that the children were included on, we were not very often invited to go along to the races, but one of the things that we would do is in the summertime, we would go up to Fourth Lake. Do you remember, Sharon?
Yes.
Trips to Fourth Lake. And sometimes we would stay in a motel, but I remember one year in particular when we stayed in a lean-to. And there were several couples there, Sharon's dad and my mom and dad, and also other good friends of theirs, Howard and Vi, Fear. I remember being there, and there were a bunch of kids, and the kids all hung out at the beach and went swimming all day, and our dads were all fishermen, so they would all rent a little fishing boat and off they'd go. And I don't know what the women did all day. I guess maybe they cooked or whatever. But when the men would come home, the kids would have sunburns that were unbelievable because they were just out all day. But when the fishermen came home, the parties would begin. And there would be just some drinks and a lot of stories and a lot of laughter and singing songs and partying that would go on until the wee hours. They
and
really
remember,
had a
they
good
all
time.
loved to play pitch.
Yes.
They would play pitch for hours on end. I mean, it would just all-nighters playing pitch. In the room, I remember I took a picture one time of all of them playing, and you can't hardly see them because there's so much smoke in the room between the cigars and everything. So they were just a really charismatic group. Is that what you would call it?
They were. They were. And I think with my dad, and I'll show you his picture one more time. He's this handsome guy on the end here. I think if I learned one thing from my dad, it was probably the importance of having a lot of friends in your life and friends that you could do different things with. You know, my dad had his card-playing buddies and his hunting buddies and, big-time gambling buddies, and he did a lot of outdoor things. And so he had this very wonderful, very large group of friends, and, they were extremely close. And I just think that that's so important in life, to make those connections and to enjoy people and to just, have fun. Work hard, but have fun. So I think that's what I learned from my dad.
Okay, well, this is something typical that they all did. There was a local funeral home, Finokins, in Gloversville, and the funeral director was a very good friend, and he a lot of times did not have enough pallbearers. So what they all would do is he would call them up, and then he would pay them all by buying drinks and dinner for them at whatever establishment of their choice was. So her father, my father, Howard Fear, George Meisel, they all volunteered as pallbearers, and then they'd go party afterwards. So are we ready to make a wrap on this little short bite of our lives? That's good, and this has been a wonderful trip spending time with Susan.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it also, and just think this is a wonderful project, Walter, that you're taking on, and glad to be a part of kicking it off. Best of luck to you.